Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be doing another Glossier video. This is going to be my second one. I do have a couple of reasons for doing yet another Glossier video, in just the past few weeks. The first time I recorded that video, it was actually about a month ago. I've been on a trip and I have had a chance to really use all of the products more extensively and to really form a real opinion about the products and how best to use them for my face. That very first video, I think that was more of what I would consider, a first impression. I really wouldn't consider that a review, whereas this video is more of a review in how I figured out how to use the products that are best for me. So that's the first reason why I'm deciding to do this video today. And so the second reason why I've decided to do this is because Glossier came out with a shade expansion on the concealer and the skin tint. I believe they came out with a shade expansion for the Wowder as well, which kind of sucks for me because I bought the skin tint and the concealer right before they did their shade expansion, like a week before. I remember when I was editing the previous video, I went to the website to get pricing information and they didn't have any of those products available. They were out of stock. And a little part of me in the back of my mind thought, okay, yeah, they're probably doing something, they're reformulating or they're expanding the shade ranges. And I was a little salty, not gonna lie, but I mean, that's the risk you take when you buy anything. You run the risk of them, reformulating or improving or upgrading or anything like that. So we're just gonna hop into the video now. I'm going to show you guys my techniques and what I found worked for me and what didn't, and just overall how long it lasted throughout the day, how well the product wore on my face, everything like that. I'm gonna fill you guys in while I'm doing my Glossier face. So I mentioned earlier that I have been doing some traveling, and I actually traveled with the original Glossier bag, and everything that I use cosmetic wise on both of these trips I put in this bag. I kept all of my cosmetics in this makeup bag. I've been to 2 different cities over the past 2 weeks I've been traveling. I went to New Orleans and then I came back home for 2 days and then I was off to Los Angeles, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But I just wanted to travel light. In both instances, I didn't want to have to carry a bunch of palettes and a bunch of different lipsticks and lip glosses and blushes and highlighters and things like that. I just wanted a way to do my face every single day and know that it would come out looking good every single time. And I wanted to look natural as possible. I wanted to catfish. I'm not gonna even lie. I wanted my face to look like mine, but just completely different at the same time. While I was on this trip, particularly in LA, I don't think that I ever received so many compliments on my looks. No one's ever even looked twice at me, so it was great getting those kind of compliments, especially in LA when I really needed it. But yeah. So it was definitely the Glossier face that was out there catfishing folks, so just to let you know. In the first video, I did use the Glossier primer. After I used it that one time and I didn't really notice or appreciate any difference, I just decided to not use it anymore. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this skin tint on my face. I experienced a lot of breakouts on my chin from traveling, and it was probably due to my diet. When you're traveling, you're not really eating as well as you should, and I wasn't probably drinking enough water, and the air from the planes too, that definitely wreaks havoc on my skin. And I have just skin that is pretty easygoing, but every time I travel, I don't know, it does not like airplane air. So I ended up using this particular brush for the skin tint. And I did like it just using my fingers, but I just felt like using my fingers just kind of rub the product too much into my skin. So I started using the brush, and I liked the way my skin looked a lot better using the brush. I just thought that it gave it a much nicer finish, and I thought that it distributed the pigment in the moisturizer a lot better than using my fingers, and it didn't make me look as greasy. I don't know, I just liked using the brush a lot better. I like to let the skin tint just kind of soak into my skin and before I put on my concealer. In the first video, I just did a straight Glossier brow using the boy brow, but I think that my eyebrows needed a little bit more help. The boy brow is fine for days where I'm just running to the grocery store and, you know, I don't want to run out with sparse brows. But for a slightly more polished look, I like to go in with a brow pencil. I got a tip from a makeup artist a few years ago that if I wanted my brows to look more natural, that I should go in with my brow pencil and just kind of go back and forth in my brows instead of doing long swipes. And she said that it just makes it more natural and it deposits more pigment on the skin versus just kind of stroking the pencil over the hairs. So I've been doing that, and I have to say, I don't know why I stopped, but it's definitely better when you want a more natural looking brow versus, you know, a fleeky brow, which I do love. But for this particular look, when I'm just trying to make it look like I haven't done much to my face, this technique works very well. I mentioned my breakouts, and I do have some really bad breakouts, but oh my god, it was like worth it, especially in New Orleans, because I ate so good while I was out there. The food was freaking amazing, let me tell you. My skin is messed up. I put on so much weight over the last couple of weeks, but like it's totally worth it. I got a nice tan in California too, so yeah, I regret nothing. Okay, I think that that's okay. I think that that looks natural enough. And then I'll do the boy brow. That's one of the last things that I do. Okay, so now the concealer. I do use two concealers. I use deep and I use dark. And I just found that that works a lot better for me than using one or the other because I'm kind of in between. Now this is dirty because I used this while I was away on my trips, and I only washed it once in between the trips, but I think that I can use it one more time. But I did just bring a beauty blender with me, and I used it dry, and I just took the darker shade, which is deep 40, and went over my problem areas, which on this trip, on these trips, is definitely my chin is where I had the most issues. All right, and I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this under my eye, not directly under it, but just in the part where I experienced the most darkness, which is just right in this area right here. And this is almost like a color corrector under my eyes. This all looks so much better since I got back from California and I got me a nice tan. Wow, everything looks better. So that's it for the deep concealer. Now I'm just gonna go in with a lighter shade, which is the dark. And this is dark 30. I'm just gonna put this under my eye though. And then I'm also gonna bring that up on my lid. Now you don't have to do this, but I have discolored lids, so I can't really put concealer under my eye without bringing it up to my eyelid, or else I would just look like I got punched in the face by a horse. Wow, I look crazy. Look at that. Look at that difference. I look crazy. I know I look a little greasy right now, but trust the process is all gonna come together. Now that I have this all on my face, as you can see, I'm looking very greasy. I'm gonna take the butt end of the sponge, and now I'm just gonna blend this all in. I have like freckles right here that you guys probably can't see, but I do have a series of freckles right here and on this side as well, because that is where the sunlight always hits my face first. And then I have a couple of freckles on my nose, and then I have this huge freckle right here in the center of my nose. But I don't like to cover it up when I'm doing a more natural face, because it is a dead giveaway that I am wearing products on my face, because only a really full coverage concealer can cover up that freckle, and even then you can still kind of see it peeking through. So I do leave that bare because it just brings more character to my face, and it makes people look at my face and think, what's she wearing? Because you can still see a lot of the marks coming through. Next, I'm going to use my Wowder. I'm gonna go in with my Beauty Blender one more time, and I'm just going to make sure that I have no lines. I will say that this Wowder is the best powder I've ever used in my life. Up until I bought this, I absolutely hated loose setting powders, and I've tried a lot of loose setting powders. I don't know, there's something about this that just does it for me, and my skin loves it. So I'm just gonna take and just go under my eye. I don't bake, but I do use a lot more powder under my eyes than I would regularly. And so now I'm just gonna bring that down and set the entire under eye area. And this just works beautifully, beautifully. Now don't talk and smile and laugh and do the things that I'm doing now, because you can definitely crease, because it takes a minute for the powder to kind of soak up the moisture, the excess moisture, and you can still run a risk of creasing, so don't do that. So I'm gonna go over my lid one final time. I'm gonna use the brush again, and I'm gonna set my lids. I'm going to just kind of go over my face just a little bit, not too much, but mostly in the areas where I put concealer is what I want to set. So now we're moving on to the eyes. So I mentioned in the first video that I was not impressed with the lid star, and unfortunately, yeah, I never wore it again. It just looked so bad on my eyes, especially in real life, that I just did not want to bother with it. So I did take my Stilla with me, and that's basically what I used while I was away. So I'm just going to go in with my Stilla here, and I'm going to apply this all over my lids. And I did use my fingers, and I just kept it localized to the lid area. I did not put it anywhere else. I don't know, there was something about the Glossier that just made my eyes look old. I can't pinpoint what that was exactly, but yeah, it just did not work out for me. The Stilla, I think, is much better and much more subtle, but gives me a nice color payoff. And it's also buildable, unlike the Glossier. So in the first video, I did have lash extensions. I have since had those removed. No regrets. My mascara of choice, which is the Lash Sensational from Maybelline. This is my favorite lash product because it is not waterproof. I cannot stand waterproof mascara. So basically, I felt like Glossier's strong point are the base products. The concealer, the Wowder, and the skin tint are, I think, is what gives you that Glossier glow. There are other products that can definitely duplicate, but I personally have not found a concealer that is as good as giving you that moisturizing kind of natural look under your eye as the Glossier. and it doesn't crease. So that to me makes it the best in its class. The skin tint and the Wowder and the concealers are all made to work together, and they work very well together. One of my favorite blushes and highlighter combos is the Fenty Beauty Killawatt and Ginger Binge and Mule. It's just, I think that this is probably one of the best cosmetic products released in the last few years. Yeah, I love this. So taking my little brush here, I'm just gonna put some blush on my cheeks. Oh God, this is like the perfect color. This works so well with the Glossier. Sometimes I've used this with like other foundations and it looks a little cakey and dry, but I think that it's because of the skin tint that it just looks like it is just melting into my skin. And I'm just gonna add just a little smidgen of highlight right there. So I don't go heavy-handed with the highlight, and the reason why I don't is because I have super dry under eyes. And when you have dry under eyes the way I do, I notice that using heavy highlight on this area right here, it brings a lot of attention to my under eye area because it's just highlighting the dry texture under my eye. You can see a clear line where my under eyes are and where my chubby little cheeks start. And you don't really get oily under your eyes, so that's gonna just remain dry while the rest of your skin is going to increase in dewiness throughout the day. So I try to keep the highlight at an absolute minimum in that area because it just, especially throughout the day, it looks bad having that dry area. And then bam, just a bunch of highlight, like not for me. I do like to highlight other areas, so I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna go right under my brow bone right here. I like it just at the tip of my nose, just a little bit, and then right over my lip. So this is my face. Now I'm going to use my Glossier Boy Brow. All right, now finally the lips. So I brought along my gloss bomb. This is my original gloss bomb, but I just found that this is perfect because it has just a little bit of tint to it. It's moisturizing. It lasts for so long. So my face is done now. This is what I wore while I was on my trip. It took me 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how much time I spent on my brows. I have worn these products every day for at least 2 weeks. And I must say that if I left my house looking like this, I came back with my face looking mostly like this. My makeup did not move. My concealers never creased. They never shifted. I put this makeup on and I did not have to powder. I did not have to do anything for the rest of the day. Like, this was just so easy and so low maintenance. I can't say enough good things about the Glossier face. This is the Glossier face with some help from Fenty. I feel like those two companies, they kind of mesh so well together. Like, those are my two favorite companies right now, is Fenty and Glossier, because I just think the aesthetic is just perfect for catfishing. I'm just being honest. They are both perfect for catfishing. Yeah, I never get any kind of compliments the way I do when I wear Glossier based products. So that's it, you guys. That is the end of this video. This is the finished face. I hope you got some good tips on how to use these Glossier products. This is definitely much better for me than doing the whole fingers and everything. I definitely think that these products work better for me when I use some simple tools like the foundation brush and just a basic beauty sponge. So if you have any questions about this makeup look, please leave them in the comments below and I will respond. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.